Just as a follow-up, I know you mentioned the assurances you got from the company and the successful relationship with interaction, I guess, with the 3M mask in the spring. But I'm wondering if you have any specific assurances from the Biden administration that they won't block these doses. And if they do, I know AstraZeneca is manufactured all over the world in a variety of different plants. Is there a possibility of shifting Canada's delivery to one of those plants that included in the contract?
Okay, thank you, Ryan. Let me break down the AstraZeneca doses and where they are potentially coming from. The current time, as I mentioned, the 20 million AstraZeneca doses under bilateral arrangements would be coming from the United States. That's the first tranche, if you will, the first agreement. Secondly, the serum doses are coming from India. First batch arriving tomorrow, 500,000 doses in this country, which is very good news for Canadians. And the third tranche or area where we would see AstraZeneca doses coming from is via the COVAX facility out of South Korea at the current time. The discussions with AstraZeneca have been very positive, and AstraZeneca, in fact, has been very helpful in terms of suggesting alternatives if we run into any roadblocks. And those are solid relationships that we will continue to rely on. We have to understand that those relationships are extremely important given the intense pressure for vaccines in the global vaccine supply chains. And our goal at the outset, and it continues to be our goal, is to secure multiple sources and locations of production for this vaccine around the world. And it is on that rationale that we have this three-pronged approach to AstraZeneca doses coming into this country. Again, with our diversified approach, we have secured the earliest possible delivery of approved vaccines to Canada, with deliveries of the first 500,000 doses beginning tomorrow. Thank you.
Merci. Thank you. Prochaine question.
Thank you.
Next question.
Thank you. Merci. The next question is from, la prochaine question est de Marie-Kay Walsh de Globe and Mail. Please go ahead. À vous la parole.
Hi, thanks for taking my questions. As a follow, I think, to Ryan's questions, are you able to explain why it is that Canada only negotiated the deliveries of AstraZeneca vaccines in its contract after March? Why didn't it secure earlier?
Well, thank you, Marieka, for the question. I want to be clear that Canada was the first country to be able to reach a deal with AstraZeneca where there was no domestic manufacturing. And so AstraZeneca actually prioritized Canada, allowing it to enter into a bilateral transaction, despite the fact that there wasn't domestic manufacturing here. Once we secured that agreement with AstraZeneca for the delivery of 20 million doses here, they were very helpful in terms of isolating where they would be able to get that supply from. And the conversations prior to signing the deal saw us examining multiple places in the world of potential supply, and ultimately AstraZeneca was able to assure us of supply from the United States. But I want to reiterate the point that Canada was very well placed and treated by AstraZeneca in terms of signing a bilateral agreement with us without domestic biomanufacturing, where it did not do that with any other country prior to that conclusion of the deal.
Okay. I'm not sure that really explains why we were only able to negotiate delivery in April, but I just wanted to go back to what you were saying in French about the Serum Institute. Can you explain in English why we're getting shots that are expiring so soon? and what impact that had on price. Do we still pay full price, or are we getting this at a discount?
Well, let me just say that the serum deal is for 2 million doses overall. 300,000 of those doses have the doses that need to be administered within 30 days. I want to be clear that all doses have expiry dates. The remainder of that tranche has to be administered within 60 days. And so it is important to recognize that we have high demand for vaccine in this country. We have provinces and territories that have repeatedly told the federal government that they want vaccines as soon as possible, and they're ready to administer vaccines as soon as possible. And on the basis of their desire for more vaccines, we executed a transaction for the delivery of 2 million vaccines within the next few months, the first 500,000 of which are arriving tomorrow. So in other words, we are responding to the desire for an increased number of vaccines. We are accelerating deliveries of vaccines from one quarter to the next. So you've already seen we are now at 6.5 million vaccines for Q1 alone. So beating our target of 6 million vaccines under Pfizer and Moderna now that we have another approved supplier. And in addition, we will continue to accelerate doses of vaccines. For example, since our initial agreements, we have accelerated the delivery of approximately 14 million doses of the 3 approved vaccines into the second quarter alone, the bulk of which are Pfizer and Moderna, 13 million doses of Pfizer and Moderna in the second quarter as opposed to the third quarter. So all of these transactions and negotiations are occurring against the backdrop of A, heightened demand for vaccine in Canada, B, the request of provinces and territories to have vaccines as soon as possible. That's our goal, and that's what we're responding to.